In the early 1970s, Los Angeles wasn't just a city, it was a stage. The Sunset Strip came alive at night, glowing in neon and echoing with guitar riffs. Hollywood became a dream factory, not just for movies, but for rock and roll. Clubs like Whiskey A Go-Go and the Roxy weren't ordinary venues. They were temples where the faithful gathered to witness new sounds. Bands like The Doors had already set the stage, but now a younger generation was ready to take over. Rockers poured in from every small town, chasing fame. Many never made it, but the ones who did lit the Strip on fire. It was the start of a cultural earthquake. By the mid-70s, Hollywood mixed glitter with danger. Glam rock exploded, with artists painting their faces and strutting in outrageous outfits. Yet beneath the glitter was grit, drugs, excess, and a city where dreams often collided with nightmares. Motley Crue, still forming their legend, embodied the chaos, loud, reckless, and unstoppable. At the same time, David Bowie floated through like a visitor from another planet, showing Hollywood how to turn music into theater. Fans packed clubs, desperate to be part of the magic. This was no longer just about music, it was about creating larger-than-life characters. As the late 70s rolled in, not everyone wanted glitter. Some demanded rebellion. Punk came crashing into Hollywood like a wrecking ball. Bands like Black Flag and X carved their names into the city with raw sound and attitude. They didn't care about fashion or fame, just truth shouted through amplifiers. Their shows were sweaty, violent, and alive. Hollywood, once obsessed with glamour, now had a new heartbeat, fast, loud, and unapologetic. The Strip became a battleground where punks and glam rockers clashed, but both kept the boulevard alive. The 80s brought a revolution not just in sound, but in image. With MTV's arrival, Hollywood became the epicenter of music videos. Rock bands now had to look as good as they sounded. Van Halen ruled with flashy riffs and bigger-than-life videos. Hair metal was born on the Strip, with bands like Poison and Rat turning clubs into launching pads. Suddenly, every kid with a can of hairspray and a guitar thought they could make it. Hollywood sidewalks filled with dreamers carrying demo tapes, while the city itself became a non-stop audition. Behind the neon glow and screaming fans was a darker story. Drugs flowed like water, and many musicians spiraled out of control. The boulevard had seen plenty of broken hearts, but now it saw broken lives. Some artists lost everything to addiction. The tragic overdoses of rising stars served as grim reminders that the dream often came with a deadly price. Yet the chaos only added to the mythology of Hollywood rock, a place where you could rise like a god or fall like a stone, sometimes in the same night. In the mid-80s, Hollywood birthed a band that captured the city's raw, dangerous spirit, Guns N' Roses. They weren't polished like the hair bands. They were wild, unpredictable, and real. Axl Rose's voice cut through the chaos while Slash's guitar became a weapon. Their debut, Appetite for Destruction, wasn't just an album, it was a revolution. The band symbolized Hollywood's contradictions. Beauty wrapped in destruction, glory balanced on the edge of ruin. Crowds on the Strip treated them like street prophets. They carried the boulevard into global stardom, but never lost the grit of where they started. By the early 90s, the Hollywood dream was fading. Seattle's grunge scene brought a new wave of sound, stripped down, honest, and raw. Nirvana and Pearl Jam shifted the spotlight north, leaving Sunset Strip bands struggling to survive. Hollywood's neon still glowed, but fewer lined up outside its clubs. What once felt like the center of the rock universe now seemed like a fading postcard. Yet even in decline, Hollywood's legend remained, a reminder of a time when dreams were loud enough to shake the night sky. Though the glory days ended, Hollywood Boulevard and the Sunset Strip never lost their spirit. Tourists still walk past the Whiskey, pointing at the stage where legends were born. Bands still hustle their way into tiny gigs hoping for a break. And the old ghosts remain, echoes of roaring crowds, clinking bottles, and guitar solos that once shook the world. Hollywood's Boulevard of Rock Dreams is more than a street. It's a symbol of ambition, rebellion, and the price of chasing immortality. The lights may dim, but the dream never dies. For years, Hollywood's rock scene was painted as a boys' club. But by the 70s and 80s, women carved their own path into the boulevard's history. The Runaways, led by Joan Jett and Lita Ford, proved that teenage girls could rock just as hard as the guys, blasting out anthems that inspired generations. Later, artists like Pat Benatar and Stevie Nicks showed that female voices could dominate arenas while keeping their own style intact. On the Strip, women weren't just groupies or bystanders, they were warriors, fighting for space in a scene that often underestimated them. Their presence reshaped the narrative, forcing Hollywood to recognize that the dream of rock and roll was open to anyone brave enough to step on stage. The boulevard wasn't just louder because of them, it was stronger. By the late 90s, Hollywood's rock kingdom had transformed. The Strip no longer ruled the charts, but its legend had already been written in neon. Every cracked sidewalk on Sunset still holds the memory of dreamers who once stood there with guitars on their backs and hope in their eyes. Bands come and go, trends rise and fade, but the boulevard remains a monument to ambition. From glam to grunge, from excess to tragedy, the streets witnessed it all. Today, young musicians still gather outside the whiskey, staring at the same doors their heroes once entered. Hollywood's Boulevard of Rock Dreams is a living history, one that whispers to each new generation, here, anything is possible, but nothing comes without a price. And so the legend carries on.